Hello, Phil here from Wings of Pegasus and welcome to Livestream Tuesday. So this is the time of the week where I just chill out, see who's online and answer some questions maybe and look at a few videos. In order for this to work, obviously I need people to comment so I can see that everything's working. So hi Uni or Uni, Troy as well, hashtag Rebel Rocker, Rene Cruz, Steve, two Steves in a row. So hello guys, thanks for tuning in and for watching this stream so far. Not a lot has happened obviously, but it's good to know that it actually works. So it means I can continue and it's not suddenly going to cut out, hopefully like I did a few weeks ago. But I'm in a wired connection, so I heard that makes it a lot more stable, so we'll see what happens. But I'm going to start the show tonight with a cover that I did of a classic Tom Petty tune. It was Free Fallin', so not any screeching guitar solos or shredding in this. It's just me with my acoustic, and yeah, just this was a tribute to Tom that I did a while back. But I'm going to put this up now. I hope you guys enjoy it, and then I'll chat to you guys afterwards. I've got a screen here that I can look at whilst the videos are on, so I can still see comments and stuff, so I occasionally jump in. But I will play this now, Free Fall in my version of the classic Tom Petty tune, so I hope you guys like this. Rock!
She's a good girl, loves her mama, loves Jesus and America too. She's a good girl, she's crazy about Elvis, loves horses and a boyfriend too. And it's a long day living in Reseda, and there's a freeway running through the yard. I'm a bad boy, 'cause I don't even miss her. I'm a bad boy for breaking her heart. And I'm free. All the vampires walking through the valley move west and down Ventura Boulevard. And all the bad boys standing in the shadows, and the good girls are home with broken hearts. And I'm free. Free
And there we go, that was my cover of Free Fallin' by Tom Petty, and I hope you guys enjoyed that. Thanks for the kind words in the comments, and thanks for tuning in and for watching me live at the moment. I hope you've all had a good Monday and Tuesday, as good as a Monday can be, but we made it through, thankfully. So, what I also look at is the riff of the week that I do on Sundays, and this week was a little bit heavier. Things got a little bit heavy on Sunday, and it's not a really well-known riff, I didn't think, but a few people got it. But what I always do is I throw this onto the live stream to see if anybody can guess it, and whoever guesses it first doesn't win anything other than feeling smug that you beat everybody else on the live stream. So I'm going to put up on screen now the riff of the week. This is out on Sundays, and it's out on Patreon as well, and everything comes out on Patreon, so if you want to check that out, those are the names at the beginning of this video as well, all my patrons. So massive shout out to my patrons. Hello guys, thanks so much for your support, it's massively appreciated. But this is a riff of the week, and this is out on Sunday, so you guys have a quick guess, see who can get it first, because I always look out, I'll be watching in the comments just in case anybody gets it super quick. But this is the riff of the week from Sunday. And there it was, that was the riff of the week. So anybody that wants to try and guess it, you can do. And Diogo Gomez is pretty close, hasn't got the name of the track, but has got the name of the band. So let's see if anybody else gets it. Andy says sounds like Priest, which it kind of does, but that's not it, unfortunately. Then Mike, yeah, it is Mastodon. So it's a good ear for seeing what it is. And then also got it is Blood and Thunder by Mastodon. So well done also for being the first person to get the band and also the track as well. A couple of people were pretty close with that, but it was unfortunately just also, which I'm sure stands for awesome, and maybe it's not displaying on my screen, or maybe that's just the username, but well done. So I'm going to play one of my original songs tonight as well, just in a second, but I think today or yesterday I passed the 15,000 subscriber point on YouTube, so massive thank you to you guys out there for subscribing and for watching my videos and for commenting as well. I do my best to reply to every comment, and I read every comment. Sometimes I can't reply to all of them, but I'd say that I do manage to reply to 99% of them. So if you're one of the lucky ones who has escaped my reply, then think yourselves lucky, but I do tend to reply to everybody on YouTube. So thank you guys for checking out the videos, it's much appreciated. I saw a comment earlier when the riff was going on saying, am I going to do any blues covers? And all I do really is just write down suggestions that people come up with. Some of my patrons often have suggestions for me for covers to do, because I do a new cover every month, and I just make a note of those and just tend to cover whatever's on my list. So if you guys have any suggestions of covers that you want to see me do, then put those on YouTube or email them in to wingsofpegasus@hotmail.com, or on Facebook, or pretty much anywhere that you find me, I'll read and I'll be able to find where your suggestions are. So if you do have any, just let me know and I will make a note of them, and then I will do them in the future. So I also want to say on Patreon, a massive thank you to the recent patrons who've just come in. The names at the beginning of these videos are fully up to date. So if you have just become a patron, you can see your name on there, and there's lots of names, which is great. Unfortunately, the names are getting smaller and smaller as I'm having to add more onto the same screen, but it's really great that I got so much support from you guys. It's up to, I think, like 44 at the moment, so thank you, my 44 patrons. Your support is massively appreciated, and I also hit my goal, which was to make a covers album that I'm going to put together and put online on iTunes and Amazon, all that kind of stuff on the website, so people, if they want to get an album of the covers that I do, then they can do that. I've also got an original album called Persistence on iTunes and Amazon, and the website wingsofpegasus.com. If you want to go to the store section of that, that's where you'll find everything. But again, thank you so much, patrons, for your support. Now I'm just going to put my original stuff on now. This is one of my tracks called Hero, and last time I played this is quite a few weeks ago or months ago. I kind of lose track because I do a new video every day, and yeah, just kind of relentlessly putting out those videos. I lose track of time of how many I've done and where I am. I think I've done either 3 or 4 months worth of videos every day now. But this is one of my original tunes, and just to build it, or at least let you know what the lyrics mean, it's about a firefighter who's trying to save lives, and that's the whole reason that the lyric video's got fire on it and stuff, and that's what all the lyrics relate to. So I hope you guys enjoy this. This is my original track called Hero, and yeah, there's some guitar in this, so I hope you guys like that as well. Rock! So that was my track called Hero. That's one of my ones from my album. And I've seen in the comments there about this X Factor, and If you don't know what it is, you probably know what it is. It's like a talent, well, it's called a singing talent show, but it's not really about singing. But I've got a friend on Facebook he's called John Mortar, who did a Rage Against the Machine for a Christmas single. And what happens in this country is that on the X Factor, this show, no matter what the song is, it always gets to number one at Christmas, regardless of how good it is or how bad it is, because of the show. So I decided, not really being a fan of the show and being an independent musician, I decided I'd go on the show, and the first thing that you do is you audition to producers of the show, and I didn't even know that this happened. So I went along and I went into the audition. I'm going to try and keep this quick because it's quite a long story. I'm planning to do a video on this, or maybe a couple of videos explaining why I did it, what happened and all that kind of stuff, but I'm going to try and put it in a nutshell. So I went to audition in front of these producers, but instead of auditioning, I walked out. So they said, play your song, and I just walked out. So they then called me back in, and they said, you're through. And I thought, oh, yeah, whatever. So I went through to the next round, to the second producer audition, did exactly the same thing. I actually started playing the intro to Johnny Be Good and then walked out. And then they put me through again. So anyway, I was then at the third producer audition where they film it. And I did exactly the same thing. So I walked out of the audition and they put me through to the TV stages. So I then was at the TV part. Unfortunately, on the TV part, when I was in the room, and you can see this is on, they actually filmed it and put it on TV. The person at the door, I said, what hasn't been done yet? Or what are people doing? And she said, well, you know, what? I don't know. Nobody's got up on the desk. So anyway, I went in there, played a song that's by a guy called Robbie Williams, and you probably won't know, you might know the song, I don't know, but it's called Let Me Entertain You, and I had that on an acoustic. So already it's an absolute kind of, you don't play it on an acoustic guitar. But anyway, I went in there and I just walked around a lot, and I actually got up on the desk and just walked around, and it was just basically being a bit of an idiot. And they put me through again, and this was Sharon Osbourne, and unfortunately Sharon was a judge, and I tried to give her a CD. The problem is, on that show, you don't get to contact the judges. You don't get to speak with them or anything. There's like a brick wall of security. So when I was thought, right, when I'm here, I might as well try and get to Sharon to give her one of my CDs, you know, let her hear my songs and let her see what I do on YouTube and stuff. But you never get that far. It's like security will stop you doing it. So I gave her a CD, and I sent her a CD and got a CD put on her desk, but never got any contact, unfortunately. But anyway, so then from that point on, I got put through for getting up on the desk and walking around and just being stupid. So I thought, well, I might as well get as much publicity as I can with this, because I was a musician, just trying to get any kind of audience to my original music. So they said, right, you're going through to Wembley Arena, which is crazy anyway, and they said, we want you to do a Bon Jovi song. We're going to have you sitting on a motorbike, and we're thinking about having a motorbike coming in on stage, and how do you feel about having a haircut? And all of these things, I was thinking, this is classic what the show's all about. It's not about music or anything. It's about the show, and we want to make you looking into like a typical 80s rocker, and we want you to get tattoos. That was another thing that they said. So when I went in for that Wembley Arena audition, they said, you're going to be doing a Bon Jovi song, and they try and set everything out. Whereas I said, no, I'm going to do one of my original songs, and I'm not coming in on a bike, and I'm not going to do it kind of how you're saying. And they were really resistant, but they knew that because they would get a lot of views, they couldn't afford to not put me on. So what I did in the Wembley Arena is I made them play an original track from my album, which means you won't see my audition being played on TV, because every time they do, I get the royalty. The X Factor don't own my songs. So by doing one of my own songs, it means they're paying me, even though I don't get through. And this is why they always do cover songs, and the artists very rarely are allowed to do their own songs, because the X Factor, Simon Cowell, has to pay me if he ever wants to show my audition. So that's why they said that I was going to do Bon Jovi, but I wasn't. I was always going to do an original track. And because it's not a show about singing or about talent, so I just walked around the crowd and jumped around and just went stupid, really. And I actually had earplugs in, so I couldn't hear what I was doing anyway. But it was actually really cool because people were getting into it, and the crowd actually went mental on the day for that performance, even though I didn't really mean it in that way. But I knew that I was going to be getting the royalties if they ever had to show it, and they did show it on TV. So I got the royalties from actually getting that, and I will get that for the rest of my life if they ever show it. And that's why on all these compilation shows you'll never see my audition, because that will cost Simon Cowell money to do. But anyway, so that's the X Factor thing in a nutshell. It wasn't me going on the show, and the people that knew me as a musician knew what I was doing and knew what it was all about. But the people that didn't know the backstory might have thought that I was really trying to be this X Factor person, but that's not my style. It's not kind of why I went on it. I went on it just as a joke, and then it kind of turned into the fact that why would you turn down an opportunity to make money from it? So I didn't. And yeah, that's how that kind of all worked out. But what I want to do is I want to do a video on that in one of my analysis things just quickly. I have been asked to do it by people that remember from that far back. So yeah, it's at some point I'll be doing that and showing the auditions with my me look a bit weird, me looking at myself doing the auditions, but I'd like to kind of say exactly what happens and exactly how the show works. It's really, everyone that's ever been on it will be able to tell you it's really contrived. They tell you to say things that will be good for the camera, so it's really pre-planned and almost like acting to a camera. But for me personally, I wasn't bothered about, I mean, this is why when I played, what they didn't put in actually, I'll explain this all in the video when I get to it, but what they didn't actually show is security had to remove me from the judge's desk at Wembley Arena and take me back to the stage because I was smashing glasses on stage and everything. And when you see it on TV, it all looks really happy and everyone's getting into it. But they cut out the bit where security had to remove me. So yeah, it kind of worked really well on TV and it got a lot of views and pulled a lot of audience. Now the X Factor is quite low down in terms of the figures that they get watching, but that was certainly in a year where the ratings were really up because people that watched my first audition wanted to see the second one to see what I'd do. And the judges also said, next time you come back, we want you to be really like rock and roll. And it turns out that it was too much because they said, I can't, don't smash anything because it's against health and safety. So me smashing glasses on stage was a bit of a bad thing for them because it was against health and safety and stuff. But I wasn't there to kind of, follow the rules. I was just there to kind of state a point. And it was more of a parody audition of the whole show. So I'd like to do a video just to explain that once you watch it and understand the backstory, that it's a parody of the whole show, then it kind of makes more sense of it. But people really liked my track, which was good as well. And straight after that, there was a Christmas #1 race for AC/DC to get AC/DC to #1 because they'd never had a UK #1 over Christmas, and I did a video for that as well and kind of got involved with promoting that after the whole X Factor thing because I had a little bit of publicity. So I really hope that kind of helped towards selling some more AC/DC tracks, and that was Highway to Hell that I was kind of getting behind there. But yeah, that's a very quick backstory to the whole X Factor thing, because I know that people, if they hear X Factor exactly the same way that I do, think, oh God, well, you didn't go on that, did you? But there was a backstory to it, and yeah, people that knew the story behind it very much enjoyed watching it. But anyway, look, I've now been talking for ages. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. I'm going to put all those videos on YouTube at some point. At the moment, I'm getting so many suggestions that I'd rather spend the time looking at really great artists who have currently around and who have been in the past, but I'll try and kind of get a little window for that video just so people can see a little bit of my backstory and see that, yeah, the shows aren't like people see on TV. Some people might really like the shows, but they don't understand what actually happens. So at least I've got that experience to tell people how you have to act and how everything's not as it seems. And I think also maybe the reason that obviously having to pay me money is not a good thing, so they didn't want me to go any further because I own those songs. But I think also the producers came on after my glass smashing episode, and I think they told the judges that I can't go through because it's too much of a wild, you know, I'm a kind of a loose cannon, and they like to have control of all of the contestants. So I think even though the crowd really got into it, it was just a case of I was a bit wild and they don't want to spend money giving the contestants royalties. I think it's very much about judges. This show is about Simon Cowell and the other people that judge. It's not about the people singing, because the singing is great. That's what people watch and get enjoyment and get the artistry from that. But then the judges are the ones that are actually getting paid, whereas the artists actually aren't getting anything. So it's all just totally messed up. But anyway, just quickly having a look down here. Evan says, I can't believe it's not 100% real. I'm shattered. Yeah, I think that's a good deal of sarcasm in that. But Aaron says, did you have to sign a contract regarding your song? No, I didn't. You have to sign a contract regarding the footage. So everything you can visually see, not what you can hear. So that means that by signing the contract to show me visually, they can't show my audition without the audio, else it just wouldn't work. But because it was such an outrageous audition, they felt that they had to show it to get views, and so that meant that I then get the royalty for any time they show it. And as I said, you won't see it anymore because Simon Cowell has to pay me in order to play it. But yes, anyway, thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Thanks for tuning in and for supporting me on YouTube. It really means so much. I was so small on YouTube, just having kind of 1,500 subscribers for probably 6 years, something like that. And I was still doing a cover every month and trying all kinds of different ways with my music, approaching DJs and, you know, getting it on iTunes and approaching magazines. I even paid a promotions company £1,500 to do. Oh, don't even get me started on that, because they did absolutely nothing, just took my money, and I'd saved up so long to get that money together. And that's why I just decided I've got to do this independently and rely on myself. And that's my top advice for anybody out there. Just rely on yourself, learn how to do everything yourself, and that's the way that it can work. But anyway, I'm going to do another analysis video tonight as well, straight after this, so you guys can check that out in about half an hour or an hour's time. So I will put that on YouTube, and thank you so much, guys, for tuning in and supporting me and liking the videos and for commenting as well. I love the fact that my videos are like a discussion board. It's not like a comment section like other videos that I've seen. It's more like musicians and fans of musicians coming together, sharing stories and just coming up with little facts that some people that have actually been to the gigs that I'm actually focusing on in the videos, which is super cool as well to have actually been there and hear it live. So I love the fact that it's more like a discussion in the comments rather than just comments that don't really go anywhere. But thank you so much for tuning in and for commenting, as I said, and I'll see you guys at the next video, and I'll see you guys next week if you're around to tune in then as well. But again, thank you guys for the support, and I will see you next week. Rock!